Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my review recap of How to Get Away with Murder season 4 episode 9, He's Dead. Now, I've never reviewed this show because this show takes me through so much emotional turns and stuff that my body can't really handle it, so I'm going to give it a shot now. So the episode opens where it left off from in the winter break with Laurel going into early labor in the elevator at Annalise's apartment. And the ambulance and all those people, they rushed there because Annalise somehow was able to call 911 and then like deliver the baby like through the elevator gate. Because she lives in like one of those old apartments that you get into the elevator and you have to pull the gate down. Like I've seen that in like a lot of like old buildings out here in LA and in some like workplaces from old buildings and stuff. So that's how I know like how the thing works. It doesn't like close like normal elevators. But yeah, and then like Laurel gets on the little thing, but as you can tell, the hard drive is still in her purse laying in the elevator, and they made sure to zoom in on that. And then Laurel's rushed to the hospital and they put the little baby in ICU because Annalise was able to revive the baby so he didn't like die when she delivered the baby. He was like 1 pound and he had like all these tubes and stuff stuck to him. I just felt so bad. I feel like so bad for like sick babies and stuff because they're so helpless and like they can't do anything and they can't tell you that they're in pain and stuff. It's just like, I don't know, I just feel so bad for like sick kids and stuff, and especially like infants that really can't do anything and can't communicate or anything like that. So they end up rushing her to the hospital, and they had Annalise and Frank came over, and there was some detective lady or doctor lady was telling them that she had the baby or whatever. Annalise was trying to ask her how she was. She was like, she can't give that information out. Of course, HIPAA laws, whatever, because Annalise is not family. So Frank told me, I'm the baby's father. I said, oh my gosh, he really finna pull this stunt. So they went in there and looked at the baby, and the baby was clearly black. Like, Frank, we know you're not the daddy. And then the detective lady ended up calling him out on that. He was like, with all due respect, we know you're not the father. Because Frank like this Italian, like, assassinating guy. But we know Frank's not the dad because that baby is clearly black. Because we always had, like, questions and stuff. I was like, maybe Frank probably really is the dad. But the baby is clearly black. And then Annalise went back to try to, like, check on Laura or whatever. And she, like, as she's walking out, she sees Laura's father in, like, the little incubator thing. Where they keep the babies at, that's in like ICU and stuff like that, like looking at the baby with his lab coat and all these other people around him. And while this is going on, Connor is on the phone with Michaela trying to figure out what's going on with Laura because he don't really know what happened with Laurel. They're trying to get in touch with her because he was supposed to meet her at Wes's apartment with the hard drive and all that stuff. And while he's like standing on the staircase outside of Wes's apartment, because he obviously can't get in, Dominic, like the assassinator who killed Wes, he's like down lower on the steps or whatever, like overhearing the whole conversation. And then when he realized Laurel is not there, I'm guessing he came in to get the hard drive or try to do something to Laura or whatever. He probably wasn't going to kill her because of her dad. But he probably came to try to get the hard drive or something, or try to see like what was going on with them. But obviously when he realized Laura wasn't there, he ended up like leaving after he overheard like some of the conversation between Connor and Michaela. And while Connor's on the phone with Michaela, Annalise beeps in. He was like, this is Annalise, I gotta take this. He was like, help get Asher out of jail, because Asher went to jail last episode before the winter break because they arrested him for shooting Simon Drake because he admitted that he touched the gun and all that stuff. And she was like, well, tell him to help get Asher out of jail. And Connor was like, oh, so now you want Annalise's help? Because, you know, ever since Michaela and all of them not in her class anymore, they've been treating Annalise like she's just like a total B. And everything that Annalise has done throughout this series is to cover up stuff that they did. They killed her husband. They, like, did other stuff. Every single thing that they did throughout this whole entire series, Annalise was the one that was covering for them, but they can't see that. They think everything's Annalise's fault. So while Annalise is on the phone with Connor, she basically telling him like what happened with Laurel, and he was in shock because he thought he was supposed to meet Laurel. And Annalise asked him what happened, and he was like, I don't know, I wasn't with it when all went down. And he was like, well, what went down? Because Annalise don't know what any of this stuff is. He was like, when the shooting went off. And she was like, who got shot? And we don't know if she actually told him, if he actually told her who got shot, because they didn't show that part. But immediately they show him going over to Nate's apartment, like, and Nate answered the door with his shirt off and all that stuff. I'm like, boy, why are you doing this to us? And he came over there and told him that Annalise needed help, that Asher's in jail. And then Bunny lifts up off the couch, Asher's in jail, and Connor looking around like this. I would have been looking at her the same thing. I bet Connor was like, y'all sleeping together? That's probably what he was thinking. But he didn't come out and say it, but he was just like in shock, like, what the hell are you doing here? That's how Connor was looking at Bonnie and Nate. And I would have been thinking the same thing because it's just so random. But I forgot in the last episode, she fell asleep on his couch. Well, he told her to sleep on the couch because she was too drunk to drive home or something like that. But that was really, really weird. And it really did catch you off guard if you haven't been paying attention or you don't know, like, why Bunny's over there. Now, back at the hospital, after Annalise and Frank look at the baby or whatever, the detective come out questioning them, talking about Laurel's behavior and all this other kind of crap in her life, and going to the psychiatric ward. So basically her dad done docked up some documents to say that the girl was crazy and she'd been in and out of psychiatric places throughout all her life. And then they're trying to say they found cocaine in her system and all this stuff. So basically they're trying to make Laura out to be like this unfit mother in order for her to like go into pre-labor or like lose her baby or something like that. They're trying to make her out to be like this unfit mother who's like crazy and like a drug addict, and she doesn't really like care for her baby, and they're trying to make like this is the reason that she went into early term labor, which is not true, because during that altercation back when Simon Drake got shot, she actually got hit in the stomach, and like it like caused her, but the pain didn't really like hit her until she was on her way to Annalise's house and was trying to get into the elevator or whatever, and that what caused her to go into early term labor. And Annalise trying to convince the detective that Laura's dad is the cause of all this, and he making up all this stuff, while Laura's dad on the other side of the hospital talking to some doctor, and then he was like, get him the head of the department, and the man was like, she's off today. And he was like, I don't care, get me the head of the department. And the man was like, well, your grandson is in good hands. He was like, I'll see that when I hear from the head of the department, because you know how like all the rich people, they always want to talk to the top person. They don't care if that person on vacation, having a baby, their kid died or nothing. They want to just know from the head of the department. And then I don't know if the man agreed to it or not, but they end up just walking away or whatever. So the detective lady saying that Laura's dad got emergency custody hearing of the child through some judge, and Annalise trying to find out through which judge, and she won't tell her the name of the judge. So Annalise was like, okay, now I'm acting as Laura's attorney. And she was telling her that she's looking at a $100 million lawsuit because she unlawfully separated the mother away from her child with some unfounded accusations, and talking about she violated her civil rights and then had a nerve to put her in a psychiatric hole. And the lady sitting up there looking at you like she crazy. I'm like, girl, you must don't know who you messing with. This is Annalise. Annalise can pull stuff out of the sky and have you convince you yourself that you're wrong, even though you know you're not wrong. So basically the detective lady, because after Annalise requested everything from her, she went and got all the paperwork. And then Frank was able to go back there and see Laura. Laura was still asleep or whatever. So Annalise ended up calling her little psychology doctor and telling him that she need his help, that one of her students just had a baby and they put her in a psychiatric hole. And they want her, and she want him to do an evaluation on her. And then on the other hand, we have Connor over here calling Michaela, but she's not answering her phone. So he basically ended up leaving a message telling her that Laura had the baby at Annalise's elevator, and he's going over to the hospital because he don't know what's going on and nobody knows what's going on. So Oliver, Michaela, Asher, all of them, they don't know that Laura had the baby. Only people that know right now is Annalise and Connor and Frank, obviously. So Michaela and Oliver, they still over at Michaela's like job or whatever, and then they're trying to figure out before they give their statement of what Asher may have said. And then Michaela finally came up when he told them the truth. And then they was like, what? And he was like, yeah, because he touched the gun or whatever. So Oliver and Michaela simultaneously giving their speeches, their statement or whatever to the police, and about what happened. And they basically like telling the same story. They're like mirror images of each other. And then we hit Nate down at the jail. Asher sent up there crying in jail because they won't give him his phone call. He was like, hey Nate, you came to help me? And Nate had asked him what was going on, and he was like, why would you admit to that? Because he was like, because I touched the gun. And Annalise always told us, by us touching anything, the DNA will be on that object. So I had to admit that I touched the gun, because I literally did touch the gun. I just picked it up. So he had to admit that, because his DNA was going to be over it. Because he was like, even if they washed it off, the DNA will still show up. I didn't know that. And then next we get Bonnie rolling up to Annalise's apartment, like showing her badge and stuff. Like she owns the place. She walks up in there. She saw like the elevator with all the blood and all that stuff. And then she asked the people, she was like, if this was a crime scene outside in the elevator, what are y'all doing here? And he was like, well, this is Annalise's apartment, so we need to be careful. I say, so y'all gonna try to blame this on this lady? This lady just saved this girl's life. She didn't have anything to do with this, but y'all all up in her apartment for when the crime didn't even take place. And this was all in the elevator and in the hallway. This ain't got nothing to do with Annalise's apartment. And you know y'all need a search warrant to go through this lady's apartment when she wasn't even, when the crime or not even crime, when the incident didn't even happen, like in her place. Like they literally probably just trying to collect evidence or something to try to blame her for something. That's all this could be. But yeah, that's just so weird. I don't understand why they're in Annalise's apartment at all. Only thing she went in there was to get her cell phone. Her cell phone probably was even with her in the hallway when she heard the girl screaming. Like, I don't understand. So Annalise's therapist finally came to the hospital when he saw her talking to Connor. And Annalise was trying to tell him that he needed to go do a psych evaluation on the girl. And he was like, he don't have the credentials at this hospital. She was like, we could just figure this out later. Then he was like, let the hospital do their job. They're doing what's in the best interest of the patient. And then she was like, you're not going to do this for me? He said no. She was like, okay, so if you don't do this for me, I'm going to report you and whatever his wife's name is to the board. He jumped his ass on board then. He's like, okay. At least don't play. She'll blackmail you quick. She'll hold you into her little pocket and pull you out when she needs you. So Michaela finally gets Connor's voicemail that Laura's had the baby. And she looks over at and Oliver is still doing his interview. Now the little detective lady that's interviewing this is Carissa from Greenleaf. I say these people just making their rounds on these shows. But yeah, so she gets up, she like rushing to the elevator. So I guess she's gonna go try to, well, she said she was gonna try to get Asher out. Cause like as she get into the elevator, Tegan, her boss, opens the door. You know, like she was holding her clutch during when they stole the key card and all that stuff. And she was asking her like, how did Simon get the key card? She was like, oh, he must have stolen it. And then she was like, well, how would he steal it and you're holding my clutch? She was like, I must have put it down for a second. And then Tegan was like, it's her behind the line, so just tell her the truth. And Michaela was still sitting up the line saying that she doesn't know. And then Tegan was like, Michaela, you're not as good a liar as you think you are. And then she turned around and she walked away, and Michaela just closed the door in the elevator and it went down. It went down. I guess she's going to go get Asher. So Frank and the therapist goes in because Laura finally waking up. And then she woke up, she rubs her belly because she don't realize what's going on. And she started going crazy, asking Frank, where's the baby? Where's the baby? And he was like, the baby's fine. The baby's in the ICU. The baby's fine. It was like, Annalise is here. He's like, but your dad's here too. And she really started going crazy too. He was like, but Annalise is handling it. Annalise is handling it. But she's just still like wondering where her baby is. And then like the doctor, the therapist, he goes outside to call Annalise, but Annalise not answering her phone. He was like, what the hell are you? Why you not answering the phone? She's awake. Meanwhile, Annalise over to the detective lady, asking her, telling her that if she have another therapist on hand to do another psych evaluation. The lady was like, no. Then she was like, well, they need to do another test on the baby because this is all lies. And then he was like, she said she need to be standing there because she don't want Laura's father to pay off anybody else. And the lady was like, well, you don't understand that you're too late. And then Annalise like, what you mean by that? And he was like, he already got like temporary custody so he could transfer the baby to another hospital, and they was leaving like right then and there. And Annalise went running down the hallway acting crazy, like, he's gonna kill this baby. If he killed this baby, the blood is on your hands and stuff. And then it was like, you need to stop before we like have the security come get you. So, but security was like holding her, but she still was yelling and stuff, like, he's gonna hurt the baby, he's gonna hurt the baby. And Annalise's Laura's father was just like really unemotional. He didn't even like flinch or anything. He didn't even like tell her to be quiet or like nothing. So Michaela finally makes it over to the hospital, and she sees Connor standing in her front. And she goes up and she was like, how's the baby, whatever. And he asked her, where's Oliver? He was like, he was still being questioned when I left. And he got mad that she actually left him there. And she was like, well, Asher's left in jail. He was like, he got Frank helping him. And then he was like, he was going to go get Oliver since Michaela just left him there. And then he was blaming Michaela, talking about Michaela, this is all Michaela's fault because she should have just told Laura no. I'm like, you can't blame that girl for this. Laura practically begged all of them and guilt-tripped them into this because they felt sorry for Wes. So you can't blame Michaela for this. That's not fair. Even though Michaela gets on my nerves sometimes, that's really not fair. And then why does this dress that Michaela has on, why does she look pregnant? Is she pregnant in real life? Because in this dress that she has on and this coat, like how her midsection sit, it looks like that she's carrying a child. So Laura in the room going crazy about trying to see her son, which is understandable. She want to see her baby because she know how her father is. And the nurses and stuff, they acting like the girl is just like acting psychotic for no reason, which she really isn't. That's a normal reaction to somebody who wants to see their child and know their father is like evil and will do something to their baby. So they end up strapping her down like she's some criminal. End up like she's gonna hurt herself or something, which is not true. And the doctor's in there, well, the therapist in there trying to explain to the little detective lady that that he's a doctor and he works for Annalise. And he was like, how do I know that? Because Annalise is not here. And I'm thinking, yeah, what the hell is Annalise? And then he goes out into the hallway and he sees Michaela standing at the little nursery thing. And he calls her Annalise by mistake. Because I guess he thought it looked like her from the back. And then when she turned around, he saw the blood on her. And I'm like, Michaela really is just walking around with all this blood on her. But then he realized that she was actually Michaela. Because when he walked up first in the hospital, Annalise and Connor was talking, and they was like, Michaela was involved in the shooting and all that stuff. So he overheard the conversation, and he just put two and two together. And he was trying to talk to Michaela, trying to find out what's going on and all this stuff. And he was like, he was at work with Annalise and all this crap. And then she was like, how do I believe you? Because you actually thought I was Annalise. How do I know you who you say you are and all this crap? So while Michaela is talking to the therapist, she asking, is the baby dead? And he was like, he don't know, because she's standing at the nursery and all she sees is white babies, and she knows the baby should have some kind of color to him. And then she was up there saying that this is illegal, Annalise should be filing some kind of injunction. And then he was like, that's what she's doing right now. And she stopped and she was like, well, how do you know that? You don't even know where she is. She was like, you thought I was her. And then she was like, Laura's not going to hurt herself. Laura's just got off her antidepressants. Her doctor took her off of them. And now her father is using that against her. And then the man was trying to ask her, like, when did she get off of them? When did she get off of them? So Michaela was like, she was going to leave. She was going to go find her friends. So while she stood up, he stood up with her, like, waiting on the answer. And she just looked at him and she walked away. He didn't fight with her or anything. He just let her go, which probably was the best thing to do. And then we get Bonnie. She goes over to the crime scene and she shows her credentials or whatever, and she tells, she asks where's the witness, and they point over to where Oliver was sitting in. And Bonnie basically, she like went over there and got Oliver out of the thing because Connor was standing up there trying to get in and they wouldn't let him in. And he was like, he was Oliver's lawyer. He violated his 5th and 6th Amendment rights. And then Oliver came walking out of there with Bonnie, and then the man was like, where are you going? And Bonnie was like, he can leave. She was like, she was like, I'm with the DA's office. We already got his statement and his lawyer's right here. And then Oliver hugs Connor, and they like did like this really long hug. And Connor's like, get off me, I'm your lawyer. And he got off, and I'm like, yeah, this is really crazy. You hug him like that's your little boyfriend or something in front of the police. They probably think you sitting up here lying about being a lawyer. So he ended up like leaving with him or whatever. And then we get Frank over in Laurel's room trying to get her to eat and drink something, and she basically won't do it. She's going into like this sulking mode because she wants to see her baby, which is understandable. So Annalise come back after being missing in action, and she done changed clothes. She had enough sense to go home and take a shower and get out them bloody clothes. But everybody else just walking around in all their bloody clothes, because you know it's the same night. And then Annalise came up. She was like, get her off of them, because they had her chained up to the thing. And the little nurse was like, well, only a doctor had permission to take it. She was like, well, you better go get a doctor, because if you don't, I'm going to remove him myself. The lady walked on right on out of the room. And then Annalise sat down on the bed. She was like, we'll get him back. And Laura was like, she don't deserve him. And then she started talking about how Dominique called her the night before to warn her to stop. So obviously her dad had something up his sleeve to that kind of knew that Laura was up to something, but he couldn't put his finger on it. And she was like, Dominique called her and warned her to stop, but she still went on ahead and through with it. So basically she's trying to think that if she would have stopped, the baby wouldn't have been taken and all this crap. But yeah, but Annalise told her don't blame herself for that. So Bonnie bring her little big head behind over to the hospital. She was able to get into the room too, and she brought Laura's her purse, and Laura's going through the purse, and she was like, the hard drive's not in there. So the purse was the evidence. She was able to check out the purse to bring it to Laura, and they going back and forth. And then Annalise was like, well, you sure you didn't take it? And she was like, I know you've been through a lot tonight, so I'm not going to even go through this with you. And then Frank was like, y'all need to just make up already. She was like, yeah, you need to make up, because I know, see how you've been lying to me the whole time. Because this whole time, but she wasn't lying to you. He wasn't lying to you this whole time. Annalise wasn't messing with him either. Annalise wasn't messing with none of y'all. She was just minding her business, trying to get some class action lawsuit with people in prison. But y'all came to her with this. This ain't got nothing to do with Annalise. And then they was like, the daddy probably got it. And he was like, no, I don't think he has it, because that's the whole reason him taking the baby. He took the baby as leverage. As long as he had that baby, he probably going to use that hard drive for a trade-off. So Annalise and her doctor sitting out there arguing about Laura's medical history. He was like, she has a history of going in and out of psychiatric treatment, to rehabs, and I'm like, she been to rehab before? She ain't never mentioned this before. And he's just going back and forth. He was telling her how Annalise is his priority, and she's the one, his patient. She was like, the girl's not crazy, she's not doing coke and all this stuff. And he's just going back and forth with her and trying to reason with Annalise and tell her that he believed that this hold is warranted, and Annalise is on the other hand saying it's not. And he just basically just getting on Annalise's nerves. Then Annalise snapped and was like, this is why your daughter killed herself, because you drove her crazy like you doing me. I said, oh, Annalise, now that was really, really harsh. You didn't have to do that man like that. And then she had a nerve to look at him like he crazy, turn around and walk back in the hospital and have him set up there looking stupid. But Annalise, that was really, really below the belt. That was really below the belt. Because he could have said, that's the reason why you had all the miscarriages, because you was a mistress and you stole this lady's husband. So we back at the DA office, and the DA, Carissa from Greenleaf, she wanted to sit up there and charge Asher, because she's saying the story is too perfect. Because Nate gave them the laptop, saying that the laptop was found inside of Drake's house with all the proof or information of what he did to Antares and what he was trying to do to Antares. And I said, they don't plant this doggone laptop at this man's apartment. And then she was like, she wanted to charge him, and Bunny was like, no, you can't do that. And then she was like, why? She was like, because I'm his ex-girlfriend. And lady was like, oh my gosh. She was like, well, you can't be anywhere near this. And she was like, well, yeah, you can't charge my ex-boyfriend on circumstantial evidence, because they're going to think I'm just coming after him just like for like revenge, or just to plant stuff on him just to say that he's doing it because they're not together anymore. Which is true. That could be like an angle that they could have used, like in defense or whatever. So basically, as of right now, he's not being charged. So little Asher is out of jail, and he breaks the bad news, quote unquote, to the kids that Simon is alive, and they like going crazy. It was like, well, he said it was good news that he won't be charged with murder. And he was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, Simon's still alive. And McKay was like, oh my gosh, that's not good, because basically they done cooked up some story. So basically, if he get his memory back, he can actually tell the truth of what happened. And Michaela and all them lines, they behind us on the line. Michaela's not gonna be a lawyer and all, because you can't be like a lawyer stealing information from your actual clients to try to use it against them. Laura done got them all wrapped up into this. And then Oliver was like, okay, that's good. He's alive. Because Oliver has some kind of moral compass. And Connor's sitting up and saying, okay, since it's live, we could just send Frank over with a pillow. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, y'all, like, once you kill one person, y'all just keep going to cover up the tracks. And Connor was like, Oliver's like, do you hear yourselves? Like, this is really crazy. Like, y'all really standing up here saying that y'all need to kill this guy. This is really, really crazy. Which is kind of is. Like, they really want him dead to cover up their tracks. But they're probably going to get caught anyway. Now that was so sweet of Annalise. She go back to see Laura, asking her where's Frank, and she was like, he's not here. He said he was going somewhere. He was going to come back or whatever. So she handed Laura the picture of the baby on her phone, and Laura like gasped. When I said, oh, that was so sweet. That like really, really tugged at my heartstrings, because she really, really wanted to see her baby, and Annalise was quick enough to like get pictures and stuff. So because she probably knew the dad was going to be up to some crap. So she got a picture of the baby, and she gave Laura her phone, and Laura was just like Googling over the baby, saying that he's so small. And then like Annalise ended up leaving the room or whatever, and she just let her keep the phone, and she just kept like looking at the phone, looking at her baby. It was just so cute. Like I was just so happy she finally did get a chance to see her baby, because like it was really stressing her out, because she nor her father, she probably wasn't going to, if Annalise didn't have that picture, she wasn't going to ever see her baby ever in life. So Laura basically tells Annalise she knows what to do to get the baby back. And then we get Dominic getting out this elevator talking about he need to trace a phone in Philly. So he wanted to trace the call in Philly, and then a phone in Philly, and turns out it's Oliver's phone, because he was standing in the hallway talking to Tegan, trying to figure out if the information had been compromised, and she said no, and he wanted to speak to the IT guy, and she was like, he's going home. And he was like, not that IT guy, the IT guy that was being questioned, and she wanted his name, and she told him Oliver something, whatever. So when he got out the elevator, whatever, he went down to his car, and as soon as he opened the door to get in his car, Frank banged his head against the thing. I said, here go Killer Frank. So Frank ended up torturing him, trying to find out what a hard drive and stuff at, and trying to find out like what's going on, and like trying to get information too. But he's not giving up any information. He literally stuck to being loyal to Laura's father until the death. Because as we know, once Frank comes for you, Frank is not gonna leave until you swimming in with the fishes in the lake, like mobsters do. So after being Dominic to a pulp, but Dominic had it coming, because when Frank is beating him, he's still like torturing him. He's still like telling Frank, "Oh, you fell for it too. That's not even under your baby." And just going crazy. Like I'm like, he really want to get his behind. Well, maybe Dominic knew that the time was right, so he had to get out of everything. So he left no stone unturned. Like, if you gonna kill me, I'm gonna humiliate you while you killing me. So Frank went on over to the hospital after he done killed him, like nothing ain't even happened. And then she sits up, she was like she's gonna call Dominic for help or whatever. And then he was like, Dominic killed Wes, and she was like, yeah, for my father. And she started talking about how Dominic been doing stuff for her father since she was little, because basically she dated Dominic when they were like teenagers or whatever, but they ended up breaking up and stuff because of her father. And then Frank was like, he's not going to answer. She was like, yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's going to answer. And Annalise standing there listening like, you're not getting it. He's not going to answer. Annalise probably already knew Frank had done killed him. So she called the phone. Frank had the phone. So that was just like confirmation that Dominic was dead. And she was like, how can you be so stupid? And Annalise was like, well, you know how Frank is. Like... And Frank really don't care. Frank, like, he gonna get it out of you or you dead. Frank don't play. Then we get Oliver, Connor, Michaela, Asher. And Oliver came back to wherever they were. And they was like, where were you? They was like, they were trying to go see Simon, but they wouldn't let him in. And then he was like, that's good for y'all, so y'all won't go in there and try to kill him. And he was like, well, we weren't going to try to kill him for real. And he was like, are you serious? You people, well, I forgot who you people really are. Michaela was like, you people, you a part of us. You did some of this stuff too. And I'm thinking in my head, Oliver, you got some nerve, because you basically begged Annalise to get a job. You knew what kind of shady stuff they was into, because Connor was telling you some of the stuff. He didn't tell you all the stuff, but he told you that Annalise and all of them was shady from all the stuff that they did. So don't try to blame them for it now, because you willingly got into it when the money was good, even when you went back this time to start back working for Annalise. and hanging with the kids and working with Michaela and stuff. Like, you want to be a part of the crew. They didn't ask you to come. You came to them, practically begging to get a job. Someone tried to come at them and try to call them you people. And then Oliver got some nerves to try to make them promise them that they ain't gonna do nothing to Simon. I'm like, you can't make these children promise you that. And they really didn't promise them. He kept on saying, promise me, promise me. And while he's saying that, Annalise walked up shaking her head, talking about he never learns. And I'm like, do they know that? I don't think they know that Frank killed Dominic. Do they? Because she's just like, he never learns. And then as she's walking up, as she's saying it to them, Frank's walking up from the back. And he was like, Annalise. So Frank walks up and to Annalise. He went through Dominic's phone and it was no contacts, no emails or nothing, but it was just one voicemail on his phone. And it's from Wes. Talking about, hi, it's Christoph. Because Wes was in the back of some cab. And it said the name wasn't even on the Dominic. It was like in case of an emergency. And then he was like, hi, it's Christoph. I'm in trouble. And then Dominic said something about, well, we all can get in trouble. Or some to that effect. And I'm thinking in my head, is Wes really dead? Because Dominic, they did send Dominic over to kill Wes through Laurel's father, I'm assuming. But was him and Wes like friends or in cahoots, working together? And then he backstabbed Wes? Or this is all like make pretend, like fake, make believe? Like, are they like dreaming? I don't understand. Like, because when they killed Wes, oh my gosh, my heart like sunk in. But Wes was at the morgue. He was laying on the table. We never like, did we really see his face? I can't even remember if we saw his face or not. But they can't be like playing with me like this with Wes, because y'all know, well, y'all probably don't, but I love Wes. Like, he's so like cute to me or whatever. But I just don't understand, like, is this an old voicemail? If it is an old voicemail, why is it still on his phone? This had to be some recent, unless he kept resaving the voicemail. Because, you know, voicemails deleted after like 10 days or whatever, unless you keep resaving it. And then this can't be that recent, because Laura had just found out she was pregnant when Wes died, and she had the baby at like 6 months. So this is like a 6-month time span or whatever. So this try to make me believe that Wes may be still alive and he's in hiding, and like he pretended to be dead on the morgue, because Laura died. They got enough money to pay everybody off, because they never had a funeral for Wes. They never showed it. None of Wes' other family ever came, like, because he only had his mom and then like his alleged dad from the rich family from back in the day or whatever. Like, they never had a memorial service, a dedication service or anything, no kind of funeral or anything. So this make me believe, like, is Wes really alive? Or are they going to try to pull this stunt to bring Wes back? Because when they killed Wes, a lot of people stopped watching the show. But I'm excited for next week, guys. So I don't know. This really confused me at the end. It tugged at my emotions. That's why I said this show always get me emotional. Like, I be riled up. I be sad. I be happy. I be like, get him. It just like takes me through a whole like roller coaster emotion from the 45 minutes that we watch this show. But thank you guys for tuning into my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you're new here. I do post daily or almost daily. So leave a comment down below if you watch the show. What do you think? Do you think Wes is alive? Or do you think he's dead and they're just playing like he's alive? Or these just flashbacks? What do you guys think? Because it confused me. So I don't know. All my social media are down below if you want to follow me on those. Buy my ebook Football Wags off of Amazon Kindle for 99 cents. Both parts you get to read for free if you have Kindle Unlimited. The links are down below for those as well. Write into my advice column at DanniGivesAdvice@gmail.com, and I'll be sure to answer your question on camera in a dedicated video. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share this video, thumbs up this video. Bye.